Bittersweet, nostalgic, romantic. Last Christmas in London. This was supposed to be their last Christmas apart, but London had other plans. One night, one city, two hearts that promised to move on, but couldn't forget. This is a story about timing, memory, and the love that refuses to die even when everything else changes. This is Last Christmas in London. Some loves fade, some loves change, and some loves, rare ones, wait for the right winter to return. In the end, Amelia and Oliver didn't find perfection. They found forgiveness, they found honesty, and they found each other in the one city that remembered their promise. Love is not about the first meeting. It's about the moment you choose each other again, after everything. This was their last Christmas in London, and the beginning of every Christmas after.
The letter that broke December. December had arrived quietly in London. The streets glistened with frost, and the faint scent of roasted chestnuts drifted from every corner. People hurried along, scarves wrapped tight, their breaths forming tiny clouds in the cold air. And yet, for Amelia, the city felt emptier than it ever had. She was sitting at her small kitchen table in her flat near Camden, a cup of tea in one hand and a stack of unopened letters on the table. Her life had moved forward, or at least she had convinced herself it had. Work kept her busy, friends visited occasionally, and she tried not to think about the man who had left a void in her heart 2 years ago. That is, until she found the envelope. It wasn't the usual bills or charity requests. It was heavy, thick, handwritten. Her name was scrawled across the front in a familiar looping script. Her hands trembled as she traced the letters, feeling a memory she thought she had locked away. She paused, heart hammering, breath shallow. Could it be him? With trembling fingers, she tore open the envelope. Inside, the letter smelled faintly of cedarwood and old books, a scent that was unmistakably Oliver. Her eyes skimmed the words, and the world seemed to stop. Amelia, I'll be in London this Christmas. If you're here, meet me at the old bookstore. I know it's been too long. I know I should have written sooner, but I couldn't stay away. Don't let fear keep you from this. Oliver. Her hands shook, spilling her tea onto the table. The liquid spread slowly, as if mirroring the slow, creeping panic and exhilaration inside her. 2 years of silence, of unanswered texts, of unanswered phone calls, vanished in a single breath. Amelia sank into the chair, the letter trembling in her grasp. Her mind raced. Could she go? Should she go? The streets of London, now glittering with Christmas lights, seemed both inviting and terrifying. Memories of snow-dusted nights, whispered confessions, and stolen kisses rushed back. Every laugh, every argument, every moment with Oliver, the weight of it all pressed on her chest. You can't, she whispered to herself. You've moved on. You've moved forward. But even as she said it, her heart betrayed her. The longing was still there. The quiet ache of loss had never fully healed. The letter wasn't just an invitation. It was a challenge, a reminder, a heartbeat she couldn't ignore. Amelia remembered the old bookstore where they first met. It had been December then, too. Snow falling lightly outside, the smell of old paper and ink inside. He had been looking for a rare edition of Pride and Prejudice, and she had found herself offering a hand. Their hands had brushed over the book, and in that simple touch, something extraordinary had sparked. That spark had grown into late-night conversations, winter walks along the Thames, and promises whispered beneath the soft glow of Christmas lights. And now she was, 2 years later, staring at a letter that threatened to undo everything she had carefully built. Amelia tried to focus on reason. She had a life now. A life without the chaos, the heartbreak, the uncertainty of Oliver. She had learned to guard her heart, to walk away from love that hurt too much. And yet, the pull was undeniable. The magnetic force of memory, of love, of what ifs tugged relentlessly. She folded the letter, staring out of the frost-lined window at the streets below. People laughed, couples held hands, and children kicked snow into the air. London hadn't stopped for her heartbreak, hadn't paused to mourn her loss, but Oliver had returned, disrupting the rhythm of her life with the softest of strokes. A single thought dominated her mind. What if this is the last chance? Her pulse quickened. She could imagine walking through the Christmas-lit streets, each step taking her closer to him, closer to the warmth and the chaos, closer to the love she had never stopped feeling. She could feel the snow crunching beneath her boots, the faint jingling of distant bells, the soft, nostalgic scent of roasted chestnuts. Every detail of the city reminded her of him, as if London itself had been waiting for this reunion. Her phone buzzed. A message from a friend reminding her to come out for a holiday gathering. She typed a reply absent-mindedly, then deleted it. Nothing else mattered. The letter, the words, the possibility, they consumed her. Amelia's fingers lingered on the envelope once more. She closed her eyes, inhaling the faint scent, allowing herself to feel the fear and hope at the same time. She could choose safety, avoidance, the familiar comfort of moving on, or she could step into the snow, into the city, into the memory, and take a chance on what had never truly ended. "You have a choice," she whispered aloud, her voice barely audible over the hum of the city. "You have to choose." For a long moment, she sat frozen. The tea had cooled. The letter lay on the table like a fragile promise. And then, slowly, deliberately, she rose. She tucked the letter into her coat pocket, the weight of it pressing against her chest. The streets of London awaited, glittering with snow and lights, echoing with memories and possibility. And somewhere in the city, Oliver was waiting too, unaware that fate had brought her steps closer with every heartbeat. Amelia opened the door to the crisp winter night. Her breath formed clouds in the air. The faint jingling of distant bells sounded like a soft invitation. The city seemed alive, holding its breath along with her. Her boots crunched in the snow as she took the first step. One step toward the past, one step toward love, one step toward a night that would change everything. This Christmas, nothing would be the same.
Bittersweet, nostalgic, romantic. Snowfall over Regent Street. The snow began quietly, almost imperceptibly at first. Tiny flakes drifted down from a gray winter sky, dusting the rooftops of London in a delicate white layer. By the time Amelia reached Regent Street, the snowfall had grown heavier, turning the city into a dreamlike landscape of glistening lights and silent wonder. The Christmas decorations hung lavishly along the street. Golden stars, twinkling fairy lights, and wreaths that smelled faintly of pine and cinnamon. Every shop window told a story of Yuletide joy, families, laughter, and warmth. But for Amelia, the festive scene was bittersweet, tinged with memory. Every decoration reminded her of Oliver. The hand-carved figurines they had admired together 2 years ago. The string of lights they had argued about while decorating his tiny flat. The scent of roasted chestnuts from the street vendors. He had insisted she try one, even though she'd said she wasn't hungry. Every detail was etched in her mind, a memory she hadn't realized she was still carrying. A heart unsettled. Amelia's steps were slow, deliberate. Each crunch of snow beneath her boots echoed in the quiet street. mingling with the soft strains of carolers in the distance. She tried to convince herself that she was simply out for a walk, trying to lose herself in the winter magic of London. But deep down, she knew why she was here. She was following a ghost, not a ghost of someone dead, but the memory of someone who had taken up residence in her heart, Oliver. Her mind drifted back to the letter tucked safely in her coat pocket. Every word burned in her mind. "If you're here, meet me at the old bookstore." The simplicity of the message belied the power it held over her. It had the ability to unravel her carefully constructed life, to pull her backward in time with just a few strokes of ink. Amelia stopped near a brightly lit cafe. Steam spiraled from its chimney, the warm glow spilling onto the snowy street. Couples passed by, holding hands, laughing. Children ran through the snow, tossing it in the air and catching it on mittens. The scene was joyful, yet for her it carried a pang of longing. She realized then that she hadn't just been holding on to the memory of Oliver, she had been holding on to what she had been when she was with him. The hope, the excitement, the vulnerability. And the letter threatened to awaken it all.
Memories flooding back. As Amelia continued down Regent Street, each step seemed to echo the past. She remembered walking here with Oliver during their first Christmas together. The crowds had pressed around them, but all she could see was him. His laughter, bright and mischievous, his eyes sparkling with mischief and warmth. The way he had grabbed her hand without asking, as if to claim her in a city full of strangers. She shook her head, trying to shake the memories. "It's been 2 years," she whispered to herself. 2 years. You've moved on. You've survived. But the city, the snowfall, the soft glow of lanterns, it all whispered otherwise. London had a way of keeping memories alive, of turning streets and lights into a living postcard of the past. And tonight, it seemed determined to remind her of every moment she had tried to forget. The tension of possibility. A street musician played softly near the corner of Regent Street and Oxford Circus. The violin sang a melancholy tune, its notes twisting through the crisp winter air. She stopped, letting the music wash over her. Each note seemed to pull her closer to the memory of Oliver, closer to the possibility that he was here, somewhere in the city waiting. Her heart raced with anticipation. Every step forward was a battle between reason and desire. She could turn around. She could retreat to the safety of her flat, to the walls she had built around herself, to the life she had carefully crafted without him. But she didn't. She kept walking. She allowed herself to be pulled by the city, by the snow, by the unspoken hope that tonight might change everything. Signs of him everywhere. Amelia noticed small things that made her pause. A bookstore display with the same poetry book they had shared. A cafe window with the same red velvet curtains as the place they had once shared hot chocolate. Even the way the snow fell, soft, persistent, and gentle, felt like a message meant for her alone. London wasn't just a city tonight. It was a stage set for a reunion she didn't know she was ready for. And yet, every fiber of her being wanted to see him, to feel the warmth of his presence, to hear his voice, to let the memory of love alive once more. The bell of a nearby clock tower chimed, echoing through the snowy street. It was midnight. The magic and the weight of the city pressed down on her, and she felt it. Oliver was here. She didn't know where, she didn't know how, but London, with its frost and lights, had aligned itself to bring them together.
The decision. Amelia stopped in the middle of Regent Street, snow swirling around her, lights reflecting off the icy pavement. She felt fear and hope collide within her chest. Every step toward the old bookstore would be a choice, a surrender to possibility, a defiance of logic. But deep down, she knew what she had to do. She tucked the letter tighter in her coat pocket, inhaled the crisp winter air, and whispered to herself, "I'm ready. I have to see him. I have to know." Her boots crunched in the snow again. The city seemed to lean in, holding its breath, every light, every shadow, every snowfall conspiring to guide her. She didn't look back. Not at the past. Not at the safety she was leaving behind. She only moved forward, drawn by love, memory, and the promise of a night that could change everything. 2 years of unsaid words. The streets of London glimmered under a canopy of golden lights, the snow falling steadily, each flake a whisper from the past. Amelia walked carefully, boots crunching in the powder, her thoughts a tangled web of memory and longing. Every lamp, every shop window, every faint echo of laughter from holiday shoppers carried fragments of Oliver. 2 years. 2 long, empty years since they last spoke. 2 years of unanswered texts, missed calls, and a silence that had stretched like a shadow over her heart. She had told herself she had moved on. She had convinced herself that life without him was a life she could survive. But the truth was undeniable. She had never stopped thinking about him, never stopped wondering what could have been, what might still be. The beginning of everything. Amelia remembered the day they met as vividly as if it had been yesterday. University halls, bustling with students, a chill in the winter air. He had bumped into her near the library entrance, a flustered apology spilling from his lips. She had laughed, brushing the incident off, but something in his eyes had lingered with her. The first winter walk followed soon after. He had insisted on taking her through the frost-dusted streets, insisting she wear the scarf he pressed into her hands. They had laughed over hot chocolate at a tiny cafe near the Thames, snow drifting lazily past the window. Every moment had been a spark, every glance a promise they hadn't fully understood. Love, Amelia realized, doesn't always arrive fully formed. It creeps up on you in the softest ways. A smile, a brush of hands, a shared secret, and suddenly it is everywhere. And when it leaves, it does not depart quietly. It lingers, a quiet ache in the spaces it once occupied. The breakup. The breakup had not been dramatic, not fiery. It had been soft, almost invisible to the world, yet devastating to both of them. Life had pulled them in different directions. Oliver, with career opportunities abroad, Amelia with family obligations and studies that demanded her attention. They had loved each other, but love had not been enough to overcome the timing of their lives. She remembered the last night together, snow falling, muffling the city, making it feel like a world apart. They had walked in silence for blocks, hands almost touching, hearts screaming in ways neither could articulate. And when they finally spoke, it was simple. I love you. I know, but we can't. No anger, no blame, only the sorrow of what they had no choice but to let go. The years between. The years that followed were filled with avoidance, routine, and attempts at moving on. Amelia dated, laughed, traveled, but everything felt slightly muted, as if the color had been drained from life itself. Memories of Oliver hovered over every joyous moment, soft but unrelenting. And then there were the letters that never arrived, the messages unsent, the calls that went unanswered. They had both tried, in their own ways, to bridge the distance, but fear and pride kept them apart. Every unsaid word, every withheld feeling, every delayed confession had piled up like snowdrifts between them, invisible yet impassable. Amelia realized as she walked Regent Street tonight that the city had kept her tethered to him all along. Every shop they had visited, every street they had wandered, every snowflake that landed softly on her coat had been a silent reminder their story wasn't over.
Memories of love. As she passed a tiny cafe where carolers sang softly, she was flooded with memory. The first Christmas they had spent together, awkward and magical.
The way he had insisted she try mince pies, even though she had pretended to dislike them. The stolen kiss under a string of lights, snow settling on their shoulders. She remembered the arguments, too, gentle disagreements over trivial matters. Who had forgotten to buy milk? Which movie to watch? But they had always ended in laughter, always ended in holding hands, in quiet apologies and soft promises that the world would not understand, but they did. 2 years had passed, but every memory was vivid tonight, as if the city itself had frozen time to remind her. And the letter, the promise of meeting, had shattered her carefully constructed armor. The unsaid words. Amelia stopped at a bridge overlooking the Thames, the frozen river reflecting the lights of the city. She leaned against the railing, staring at her reflection in the water, and realized how many words had been left unsaid. I miss you. I'm scared. I want you back. All the confessions, all the admissions of love and fear had been trapped in the silence of pride and timing. And now the letter offered a chance to speak them aloud, to rewrite the story, to finally close or reopen the chapter they had left unfinished. Her pulse quickened. The possibility of seeing him again filled her with hope and dread. Every fiber of her being wanted to run into his arms, but she also feared disappointment, the fear of realizing that perhaps he had changed, or she had. The night in London. Amelia walked on, past the glowing windows, past families laughing and couples holding hands. The city felt alive with magic tonight, but it was the kind of magic that carried both joy and pain, love and longing. The snow fell thicker now, coating her hair, her coat, her heart in soft white. Every step brought her closer to the old bookstore. Every step was a surrender to fate. Every step a reminder that love is never truly gone. It waits, quietly, for the right moment to return. She remembered Oliver's eyes, the warmth of his hand, the gentleness in his voice, and she whispered to herself as the bells rang from a distant church, soft but clear. I'm ready. I'll say the words this time. I won't let them stay unsaid. The city held its breath. The snow fell silently, and somewhere, just around the corner, Oliver was walking too, unaware that tonight, 2 years of silence would finally meet in the glow of London's winter lights.
The bookstore that held their secrets. The streets of London had quieted as the night deepened. The snow fell thicker now, muffling footsteps and the distant hum of traffic. Lights glimmered through frosted windows, and the city seemed to hold its breath, as if waiting for something, or someone. Amelia's boots crunched softly over the snowy pavement as she neared the old bookstore. Every corner of the street stirred memories that threatened to pull her backward, yet she pressed forward. The store had always been more than a place to buy books. It had been a sanctuary, a hiding place for laughter, whispers, stolen kisses, and secret promises. The familiar scent. The bell above the door jingled faintly as she entered. The warmth of the store wrapped around her immediately. The smell of old paper, polished wood, and faint vanilla from the seasonal candles transported her back in time. Every shelf, every book, every shadow seemed to whisper memories of Oliver. Amelia wandered slowly among the stocks. She touched the spines of old novels they had read together, tracing titles they had discussed at length. Pride and Prejudice, A Tale of Two Cities, Little Women. Books that had been silent witnesses to their first conversations, their first smiles, their first shared moments of vulnerability. Her eyes scanned the shelves instinctively, as if the bookstore itself could reveal a sign. And then, tucked behind a familiar volume, she saw it.
A small note, folded carefully. Her breath caught. She recognized the handwriting immediately. Oliver's elegant looping script. "I'm trying. Don't leave yet." The words hit her like a gentle wave, both comforting and electrifying. 2 years of silence, 2 years of longing, distilled into 4 simple words. It was a plea, a confession, a reminder that the love they had shared had never truly faded. She pressed the note to her chest, feeling the warmth of possibility. Tears threatened to spill, but she blinked them back. Tonight, she told herself, she would confront her fear, her hesitation, and the quiet ache she had carried all this time. Memories in the aisles. The bookstore was quiet, almost sacred. The only sounds were the soft jingling of the bell when someone entered or exited, and the faint rustle of pages turning somewhere in the back. Amelia wandered further in, touching books, inhaling the comforting scent, and letting memories wash over her. She remembered the first winter they had spent here together. The snow outside had painted the streets white, but inside the world had been cozy and golden. They had argued over which book to buy, laughed when the store clerk caught them sneaking glances at each other, and whispered promises in corners where no one else could hear. This place had held their secrets, their confessions, and their hearts, and now it seemed to hold the key to rekindling what had never fully ended.
The heartbeat of the city. Amelia glanced out the window. Snowflakes danced lazily in the light of the street lamps. The city outside was alive, shimmering, and breathtakingly beautiful. Each flake, each reflection, felt like a message from fate. Her pulse quickened. Somewhere in the streets, Oliver was walking, searching, hoping. Somewhere he was wondering if she would come, if the memory they shared was strong enough to pull them back together. And she realized, with a jolt, that every step she had taken tonight had been guided by love, a love that refused to fade, a love that refused to surrender. The decision. Amelia's heart raced as she folded the note carefully and tucked it into her coat pocket. The bookstore was more than walls and shelves. It was the bridge between the past and the present, the place where 2 hearts could finally speak the words that had been silenced by time and distance. She could wait here, hidden among the pages and memories, or she could step outside and let fate guide her. Her hands tightened into fists at her sides. Fear whispered that she might be too late, that he might not be here, that this night might end in disappointment. But love was louder, stronger, insistent. She whispered to herself, "I'm not leaving without him, not tonight." The words felt like armor, like a promise, like a declaration. The suspense of reunion. Amelia stepped back toward the door, peering out into the snow-covered streets. The city seemed still, holding its breath. Every lamppost glimmered, every shop window shone. Every flake of snow felt like a herald of what was to come. She took a deep breath, the cold air filling her lungs, steadying her nerves. Somewhere out there, in the quiet magic of London's Christmas night, Oliver was waiting. She could feel it, the magnetic pull of memory, of love, of possibility guiding her steps. This was the moment the city had been building toward. This was the night when the past could collide with the present, when 2 hearts could finally speak what had been left unsaid for 2 years. Amelia's boots crunched in the snow as she stepped back onto the street. The bell above the bookstore door jingled softly behind her, as if offering encouragement. Every step she took carried her closer to him, closer to the love that had never truly ended,
closer to a night that could change everything.
Oliver's side of the story. The winter wind whipped through the streets of London, tugging at Oliver's coat as he hurried along cobblestone alleys dusted in snow. The city was alive with Christmas magic, twinkling lights, festive music, laughter spilling from cafes, but none of it reached him. None of it mattered. His thoughts were consumed by her. 2 years of absence, 2 years of silence, and now, tonight, he had a chance to see her again. The letter had been written in a moment of fear and longing, penned with shaky hands and a heart that refused to forget. And he had returned early, hoping against hope that she would come, that the spark they shared had not been extinguished by time or distance. The journey through memory. Oliver's steps took him past familiar landmarks, each one a reminder of moments he had tried to bury. The park bench near the Thames where they had shared their first kiss, the small cafe where they had argued playfully over the last slice of cake, the bookstore where he had nervously slipped a note into her favorite book, a note she had never known he still carried in his mind. The memories were vivid, painful, and intoxicating. He could hear her laughter in the wind, feel the brush of her hand as if it had happened yesterday. Every sight, every sound, every scent tugged at him, reminding him that 2 years had not been enough to erase what they had shared. Fear and anticipation. As he walked, Oliver's heart pounded with a mixture of excitement and terror. What if she didn't come? What if she had moved on completely, found someone else, built a life that no longer had space for him? Fear gnawed at him, sharp and insistent. But beneath the fear was something stronger. Hope. Hope that the city, the snow, the magic of Christmas, and the unspoken love between them would guide her here. Hope that she would walk through the streets of London tonight, following the same thread of memory and longing that had led him back. Hope that, against the odds, fate was still on their side. Oliver tightened his scarf and adjusted his coat, pushing down the nervous energy that threatened to consume him. He moved swiftly, determined to reach the old bookstore, determined to see her face, to hear her voice, to know that what he felt was not one-sided. Signs of her presence. The city seemed to conspire with him, offering subtle signs that she was near. A glimpse of familiar hair glinting in the streetlight, the faint scent of her perfume carried on the wind, soft and unmistakable. The snow seemed to part just enough to give him a clear path, guiding him toward her without her even knowing it. Every instinct, every memory, every heartbeat told him she was close, and with every step, his resolve strengthened. He had returned for a reason. He would not leave her without her. Not tonight. Not after 2 years of silence. Not after all the moments they had shared. Not after everything that had led to this single, fragile, electric possibility. The burden of regret. Oliver paused at a street corner, his breath forming clouds in the cold night air. He thought of all the words he had left unsaid, the confessions, the apologies, the declarations of love that had been swallowed by fear. 2 years of regret pressed heavily on his chest, and he realized how much he had needed this moment, this chance, this reunion. He whispered to himself, low and urgent, "I won't let fear steal her again, not this time." The weight of past mistakes, the ache of absence, and the longing that had built up over years coalesced into determination. Tonight, he would either reclaim what was lost or finally know the truth of their love. A city holding its breath. The snow fell steadily now, covering London in a soft, quiet blanket. The streetlights glimmered like golden sentinels, guiding him through familiar streets and alleys. Shop windows reflected the glow, painting the city in soft light and shadow. Every flake, every glow, every sound seemed to whisper her name. Oliver quickened his pace, every step a mix of dread and hope. He could feel it, the magnetic pull of her presence. Somewhere ahead, perhaps just beyond the curve of a street or around the corner of a familiar building, she was walking too, her thoughts as consumed by him as his were by her. The anticipation of reunion. His thoughts wandered to the letter she had received, the note that had led her here. He imagined her reading it, her hands trembling, her heart racing. He imagined her struggling with fear and longing, debating whether to step into the night, to confront her feelings, to face him after 2 years of absence. Oliver's chest tightened with both hope and anxiety. What if she doesn't come? What if all of this is for nothing? But the fear was fleeting, replaced instantly by determination. He would wait. He would search. He would not let the opportunity slip away. The bookstore awaits. Finally, he reached the old bookstore. Its warm light spilled onto the snow-dusted pavement, casting a golden glow that seemed to call out to him. He paused, taking in the familiar facade, the scent of books drifting faintly through the slightly ajar door. This place had held so many of their moments, first conversations, stolen kisses, whispered confessions. Tonight, it could hold something new, a beginning or a closure long overdue. Oliver's heart beat rapidly. He looked down the street, scanning every passerby, every shadow, every flicker of movement. Somewhere among the falling snow and golden lights, Amelia was out there, and he would find her. He would not leave London without her. The missed meeting. London glistened under a quiet snowfall. The streets wrapped in the soft glow of Christmas lights. The city felt magical, alive with possibility. And yet, for Amelia and Oliver, that possibility remained just out of reach. Amelia walked briskly, her breath forming tiny clouds in the frigid air. Her coat was dusted with snow, her boots leaving crisp tracks along the lamp-lit pavement. Each step carried her closer to the old bookstore, closer to the reunion she had dreamed of since she received Oliver's letter. Her heart raced, a mix of hope, fear, and anticipation that made her chest ache with longing. The city conspiring. At the same time, Oliver moved through the same streets, weaving past holiday shoppers, the glow of street lamps reflecting in his determined eyes. He was focused, scanning the crowds for any sign of her, his pulse quickening with each step. He clutched the note in his pocket, a fragile piece of paper that had held his hope and now anchored him to this night. The snow seemed to conspire against them, soft flakes drifting lazily, obscuring faces and muffling sounds. The city, though glowing with warmth and festive cheer, had a quiet magic that teased, delayed, and tested patience. Almost colliding. Amelia turned a corner too quickly, her eyes scanning the street for a sign. She collided almost with a man carrying a stock of books, and for a split second, the world tilted. Faces blurred, voices echoed, and her heart leapt as she felt a fleeting familiarity. Oliver, on a parallel street, glanced up from the crowd, catching a glimpse of a figure who could have been her. He paused, frozen by recognition, but the moment passed as quickly as it had come. She was gone, swallowed by the city, leaving him with nothing but a shadow of hope and the echo of memory. The heartbeat of London. Both of them continued, unknowingly following parallel paths through the city. The snow muffled their footsteps, the wind carried only fragments of sound, and the lights blurred like distant stars in a winter haze. London, vast and bustling, seems to delight in keeping them apart, forcing the anticipation to stretch, to build, to burn with a sweet ache that neither could ignore. Amelia's mind raced. Where is he? She wondered. Why can't I see him? Every instinct screamed that he was near, that fate had aligned, yet something invisible held them apart. She pressed on, heart pounding, unwilling to turn back, unwilling to give up the thread of possibility that had brought her this far. Oliver's thoughts mirrored hers, every step weighted with longing and fear. Is she here? Has she changed? Will she come to me? He had rehearsed what he would say, the words he would finally speak, but the city's magic delayed the encounter, turning every moment into a test of patience and courage. Memories colliding with reality. Amelia paused briefly by a glowing shop window, her reflection framed by twinkling lights. She remembered the first Christmas they had shared, the laughter, the arguments, the warmth of holding hands while snowflakes melted on their coats. She had imagined tonight hundreds of times, the reunion, the embrace, the whispered confessions of love. But the reality of the city, with its crowds and snowy alleys, complicated everything. She saw shadows that weren't him, glimpses of movement that weren't familiar. Each near miss heightened her longing, sharpened the ache in her chest, and made every step feel simultaneously thrilling and torturous. The suspense of fate. Oliver stopped momentarily in a narrow lane, pressing a gloved hand against his chest as if to still his racing heart. He had caught the faintest whiff of her perfume, the slightest echo of her voice carried on the wind, but it slipped away before he could confirm it. London had drawn them close, tantalizingly close, yet not yet together. The snow swirled between the streetlights like silent witnesses to their near collisions. Time seemed to stretch unnaturally, each heartbeat a drum of anticipation. They were so near, so heartbreakingly near, but separated by fate, by the city, by the delicate tension that made this night unforgettable. The emotional pull. Amelia quickened her pace, her chest tight with a mix of frustration and longing. Every corner she turned, every lamp she passed, she hoped to see him. Each snowflake on her coat felt like a reminder of the love that had never left, the bond that distance and time could not sever. Oliver's determination mirrored hers. He moved with precision, scanning the streets, alert to every passerby, attuned to every movement that might indicate her presence. His heart ached with the same bittersweet longing, the same fragile hope. Neither of them knew that just a few steps apart, the thread of their story was taut, waiting to snap or to weave them back together. The bittersweet turn. Finally, Amelia reached the corner closest to the old bookstore. She stopped, scanning the softly lit streets, seeing the golden glow spill into the snowy night. She felt a shiver, not from the cold, but from anticipation. Meanwhile, Oliver, just a block away, paused to catch his breath, his eyes sweeping the street, imagining her just beyond the lampposts. He had rehearsed the words, the greetings, the confessions, and yet the universe had delayed the perfect moment, forcing patience, forcing tension, forcing longing. The city had held them at arm's length, allowing them to almost meet, almost touch, almost speak. And in that near miss, the weight of 2 years of unsaid words and longing pressed down harder than ever, both agony and ecstasy mingling in their hearts. The first glimpse. The snow fell gently over London, a soft, quiet veil that turned the streets into a canvas of gold and white. Christmas lights shimmered on every corner, reflecting in puddles and on frosted windows, creating halos around the city's edges. Every breath Amelia drew seemed to hold the past, the present, and the possibility of a future she had dared not imagine until tonight. She walked slowly, deliberately, her eyes scanning the streets for the familiar warmth of his presence. Her heartbeat thudded like a drum in her chest, a rhythm that matched the falling snow. She was almost at the bookstore when the crowd parted in a way that seemed too deliberate to be coincidence. the glimpse. And there he was, Oliver, standing across the street, coat dusted with snow, scarf wrapped tightly around his neck. The glow of a nearby street lamp caught the curve of his jaw, the faint tousle of his hair, the unmistakable way he held himself with both caution and longing. For a moment, time froze. The city, the snow, the people bustling around them, all of it vanished. Amelia's breath caught, and Oliver's chest tightened in that same instant. They were two souls suspended in the golden haze of winter, hearts recognizing each other after years of silence. It was only a glimpse, a single moment, but it carried the weight of every unsaid word, every missed opportunity, every shared memory that had lingered in the corners of their hearts. The surge of emotion. Amelia's eyes widened as she took in the sight of him. The memories came flooding back. The first kiss, the winter walks, the stolen laughter, the nights when London itself had seemed to hold them safe from the world. Her chest ached with a bittersweet longing that was almost unbearable. Oliver's gaze met hers, and the world tilted again. His eyes were the same, yet deeper somehow, as if the years apart had only strengthened the connection between them. He didn't move at first, caught in the gravity of seeing her, really seeing her for the first time in 2 years. Then, as if propelled by invisible strings, both of them started moving, her toward the bookstore, him across the street, toward a destiny they had imagined countless times in the privacy of their hearts. Every step felt like a heartbeat of the past colliding with the present. Amelia remembered the day he had taught her to skate on the frozen pond near the park, the way he had caught her when she stumbled, the laughter that had followed. She remembered the winter night they had spent in that tiny cafe, whispering secrets and stealing bites of each other's pastries. And now, all of that history, all of those moments surged back at once as she saw him, standing there, alive, real, and impossibly close. The city around them seemed to fade into soft focus, leaving only the golden glow, the snow, and the undeniable pull of love. The tension of the first moment. Neither spoke immediately. Words were unnecessary. The air between them crackled with the weight of 2 years of absence, the longing that had grown stronger with every passing day. Every heartbeat, every glance, every breath was a silent conversation. Amelia's hand twitched as if reaching for him, but she stopped, letting the moment linger. Oliver mirrored her hesitation, recognizing the fragile dance they were performing, wanting, needing, but not yet daring to cross the final distance. Repetition of memory reinforced their connection. This is him. This is her. This is the love that never left. Every snowflake that fell between them felt like a messenger of fate, urging them closer, teasing them with possibility. The city holds its breath. The snow swirled in soft patterns, drifting lazily across the space that separated them. A faint bell chimed from the bookstore behind Amelia, echoing across the quiet street. The city seemed to pause, waiting, aware that something significant was about to unfold. Oliver's pulse raced. She's here. She's real. She hasn't changed. She's here. Every step he took was measured, careful, yet driven by an unstoppable need to bridge the gap that time and distance had created. Amelia, too, felt the invisible pull. She knew instinctively that he was near, that the thread of fate is taut and unbreakable. Her hand brushed against the pocket where she had tucked his note, a lifeline to the past, a promise of the present, and a hope for the future. The silence speaks. For a few suspended seconds, neither moved beyond their gaze. The world could have ended, the city could have vanished, and it would have not mattered.
Every glance, every heartbeat, every flicker of emotion communicated what words could not. I have never stopped loving you. Amelia took a tentative step forward. Oliver mirrored her. The snow between them seemed to melt, the space shrinking as anticipation rose. The tension was unbearable, but it was also beautiful. The exquisite ache of finally seeing someone who had haunted their heart for years. And then, a moment of chaos. A child ran past, laughing, and Oliver instinctively stepped to the side, the motion breaking the fragile spell for just an instant. Amelia's gaze flicked away to avoid colliding with another passerby. In that brief distraction, they lost the perfect moment, separated again by chance. Both paused, breathing heavily, hearts pounding. Frustration and longing surged, but beneath it all was a deep, unshakable truth. They were still connected, still drawn to each other, and the universe had not yet allowed them to meet fully. The golden glow of the streetlights, the quiet music of carolers in the distance, and the gentle falling snow framed the tension perfectly. The city seems to be holding its breath, aware that the reunion they both craved was imminent, but not yet.
The collision of hearts. The snow fell thicker now, softening the edges of London and casting a gentle, ethereal glow over the streets. Christmas lights flickered in windows, reflecting off icy pavements, while carolers' distant melodies floated through the night air. Every breath Amelia took felt electric, as if the city itself held its pulse in anticipation. She walked carefully, boots crunching on the snow, heart hammering in her chest. Every step seemed guided by something greater than herself, a magnetic pull she could not resist. She was close, she knew it. Her eyes scanned every shadow, every movement, and then she saw him. The first touch. Oliver stood near the bookstore, snowflakes settling on his shoulders. His eyes met hers across the soft glow of a street lamp, and the world shifted. Time slowed, sounds softened, and the bustling city seemed to fade into a hush that belonged only to them. Without thinking, she crossed the final distance, and he stepped forward as well. Their hands brushed first, tentative, trembling with years of longing and anticipation. Then finally, they stood face to face, breathing in the same cold, wintry air, hearts colliding in a rhythm that had never stopped. The moment was fragile, suspended between the past and the present. And yet, in that collision, every stolen glance, every whispered secret, every fleeting touch of the past surged into a perfect, bittersweet now. Words unnecessary. Neither spoke immediately. Words felt insufficient, inadequate against the weight of 2 years of longing. Their eyes communicated everything: regret, hope, joy, and the aching truth that they had never stopped loving one another. Amelia reached up, brushing a lock of hair from Oliver's forehead. He leaned into the touch instinctively, as if remembering the countless times he had done the same. A shiver ran down her spine, but it was not from the cold. It was from the electricity of being near him again. Repetition of memory reinforced the present. This is him. This is her. This is the love that has endured every storm, every distance, every doubt. Finally, Oliver broke the silence. His voice was low, urgent, and trembling. I thought I had lost you," he said. Amelia's eyes filled with tears, shimmering in the golden light. 2 years, she whispered, voice breaking. 2 years and still. Her sentence hung, unfinished because words could not capture the depth of what she felt. She let the silence speak, letting the snow, the city,
and the shared history between them fill the gap. Oliver's hand covered hers, warm and firm. I never stopped thinking about you. Never. Not a single day. Her breath caught. Every heartbeat, every memory, every longing converged into this single moment. The collision of hearts was complete.
The city as witness. London seemed to exhale around them. The snow swirled in gentle circles, drifting lazily over their heads. Streetlights cast halos, illuminating their embrace in soft, golden light. Carols floated from nearby windows, a chorus that seemed composed for them alone. The city, which had held them apart, now bore witness to their reunion. Every element, the snow, the lights, the quiet streets, the distant laughter of strangers, amplified the intimacy of the moment. The magic of Christmas, the nostalgia of their shared history, and the pure, unyielding force of love merged into something almost sacred. Rekindling the connection. Amelia and Oliver stepped closer, finally allowing their foreheads to touch. The warmth between them was palpable, a tangible thread tying past to present. Their breaths mingled in the cold air, a rhythm long absent now restored. I was afraid you wouldn't come, Amelia admitted, voice soft but steady. I had to, Oliver replied. I had to see you. I had to know we weren't too late. And in that confession, they found not only reassurance, but a promise that despite the distance, despite the time, despite every obstacle, their love had endured, and tonight it was alive, vibrant, and unbroken. Snowflakes landed gently on their coats, on their hair, on the street around them. Amelia closed her eyes for a moment, letting the sensation, the sound of falling snow, the warmth of Oliver's hand, the city's quiet magic, wash over her. Repetition of shared history made the present moment even more powerful. This is him, this is her, this is the love that time could not erase. Every smile, every whispered word, every shiver of anticipation reminded them of everything they had missed and everything they had yet to explore. Oliver pulled her gently into a proper embrace, holding her like he would never let go. Amelia rested her head against his chest, feeling the steady rhythm of his heartbeat, a sound she had longed to hear for 2 long years. The promise. They lingered in that embrace, snow falling around them, city lights glowing softly. Words were not necessary. Every glance, every touch, every shiver conveyed what language could not. And in that quiet, magical moment, a promise formed between them, one unspoken but deeply felt. They would no longer let time, distance, or fear define their love. They had found each other again, and this time they would not let go. Oliver pulled back slightly, brushing snow from her hair. "Merry Christmas," he whispered. Amelia smiled, tears slipping down her cheeks. "Merry Christmas to us." And in the glow of London's winter streets, they both knew that this night, this snow, this city, and this love would be remembered forever. Confessions under the Christmas lights. The streets of London glimmered under the canopy of Christmas lights, each bulb twinkling like a promise. Snow drifted lazily through the air, coating the cobblestones in soft white, muffling footsteps and making the world feel intimate, private, and sacred. Amelia and Oliver walked side by side, their hands brushing occasionally, fingers intertwining naturally as if no time had passed at all. Every step carried a quiet reverence, an awareness of the magic surrounding them, and a fragile acknowledgement that this night, this reunion, was a miracle in itself. The power of silence. Neither spoke at first. Words felt unnecessary. The city hummed softly around them,
carrying the distant melody of carolers, the laughter of passersby, and the whisper of the falling snow. Amelia's gaze lingered on Oliver, taking in the familiar warmth of his eyes, the curve of his lips, the way the light kissed his hair. She realized, with both a pang and a thrill, that she had carried him with her all this time, not just in memory, but in longing, in hope, in quiet dreams she had whispered to herself in lonely moments. Oliver glanced at her in return, catching the subtle tremor of emotion in her expression. He had imagined this reunion countless times, but nothing had prepared him for the intensity of the moment, the gravity of 2 years compressed into a single heartbeat. The first confession. Finally, Oliver broke the silence. His voice was low, trembling, yet resolute. I was afraid that 2 years apart would have changed everything, afraid that you might have moved on. Amelia's fingers tightened around his, warmth spreading through her in waves. I was afraid too, she confessed, voice soft but steady, afraid that the life we had imagined was only mine and that you had let it go. They laughed softly, a mixture of relief and disbelief. 2 years of fear, uncertainty, and longing spilled from their lips in tiny confessions, each one a key unlocking the years of separation. Sharing the longing. As they walked beneath the glow of festive lights, Oliver spoke of nights when he had imagined her smile, remembered the warmth of her hand, and replayed their moments together over and over. Amelia shared her own recollections, how she had kept his note close, how she had wandered the streets hoping for signs, and how the thought of him had haunted her dreams. Repetition reinforced the depth of their connection. We have never truly been apart. We have always carried each other in our hearts. Every confession, every memory, every shared emotion built a bridge between past and present, making the space between them feel smaller, tighter, and unbreakable.
The nostalgia of the city. London itself seemed to participate in their reunion. Snowflakes glimmered in streetlights, their movements slow and hypnotic. The scent of roasted chestnuts drifted from a nearby vendor. Shop windows glowed with ornaments and ribbons, each reflection a reminder of shared pasts and the joy they had once found in the smallest details of life. Oliver and Amelia paused under a large Christmas tree planted in the center of the square. Its lights reflected in their eyes, creating a halo around them. He pulled her closer, and they allowed themselves a long, lingering embrace. For the first time in 2 years, they felt the security and warmth of belonging to each other and to a shared story that had endured time and distance. The sweet bittersweetness. I never stopped thinking about you, Oliver whispered, his forehead resting against hers. Every day you were with me, in every moment and every decision I made. Amelia's eyes shimmered with tears, a soft smile spreading across her face. And I never stopped thinking about you. Every Christmas, every quiet night, every moment of longing, I imagined this. I imagined us, together, here, now. The bittersweet ache of 2 years apart made this reunion sharper, sweeter, more profound. Each word, each touch, each glance carried the weight of time lost and the joy of time regained. Promises for the future. They walked a little further, hands clasped, hearts beating in unison. The city stretched around them, quiet but alive, a backdrop for their private confessions. I don't want to waste another year, not a single day. I don't want to wait for fate to bring us together. I want us. Amelia smiled, leaning into him, her warmth melting the last remnants of doubt. We'll have us, she said softly. From now on, every Christmas, every moment, we'll make sure we're together. No more distance, no more hesitation. Repetition reinforced the resolution. We will not let time separate us again. We will not let fear control our hearts. We will choose each other. The magic of shared history. As they walked back toward the softly lit streets leading to the bookstore, they paused occasionally, sharing memories with a tender laughter that filled the winter air. Every story recalled, every joke remembered, every quiet glance exchanged wove them closer together. It was not just a reunion, it was a reclaiming of everything they had lost. The past and present merged seamlessly, creating a foundation for a future neither wanted to leave to chance.
The Christmas resolution. The snow had slowed to a delicate whisper, coating the streets of London in soft white as the city shimmered with a golden glow. Christmas lights twinkled from every corner, reflecting off windows and icy pavements, creating a magic that felt almost sacred. For Amelia and Oliver, this night had become something far greater than either had imagined, a night where the past, present, and future converged. Hand in hand, they walked slowly through the quiet streets, hearts beating in tandem. Every step they took was deliberate, every glance a silent reaffirmation of the love that had endured 2 years of separation. The moment of decision. They paused at the small bridge overlooking the Thames, the river's dark waters shimmering with reflections of the city lights. The world around them felt hushed, as if London itself were waiting for them to speak, to choose, to define the next chapter of their lives. Oliver turned to Amelia, eyes deep and steady. "I don't want another year lost," he said, voice firm yet tender. "I don't want to wonder, to regret, to imagine what could have been. I want now. I want us, fully, without hesitation." Amelia smiled, a tear slipping down her cheek, sparkling in the glow of the streetlights. "I've waited for this night, for this moment, for you, and I don't want to waste it either. From now on, every day, we choose each other." Repetition underscored their commitment. We choose each other. We will not let time or fear dictate our hearts. We choose now, together, forever. The sweet bittersweetness of the past. Oliver pulled her gently into an embrace, the warmth between them a stark contrast to the crisp winter air. 2 years, he whispered, 2 years apart, and I feel like I've never stopped knowing you were mine. Amelia rested her head against his chest, feeling the steady rhythm of his heartbeat. And I've never stopped knowing the same. Every moment apart, every fleeting doubt, it all led to this night. It all led to you. The bittersweet ache of the past, the lost time, the unspoken words, the lingering longing, made the present moment sharper, more precious. They had survived the distance, endured the uncertainty, and now stood together, stronger and more certain than ever. The reaffirmation of love. Under the Christmas lights, Oliver held her hands, looking deep into her eyes. "I love you, Amelia. I always have, and I always will. Not just tonight, not just this Christmas, but every day we have." Amelia's lips curved into a smile, tears glimmering in her eyes. "I love you too, Oliver. I never stopped. I never will. And tonight we begin again, fully, without hesitation, without fear." Repetition reinforced the truth of their words. We love each other. We have always loved each other. And now
Nothing can take that away.
The symbolism of Christmas. They walked together toward the heart of the city, past twinkling shops, softly lit streets, and carolers singing in distant squares. Every detail, the snow, the lights, the quiet magic of Christmas, felt symbolic, as if the season itself bore witness to their reunion and blessed their choice to embrace love without reservation. Oliver stopped beneath a grand Christmas tree, its lights glowing like a halo. He turned to Amelia, taking both her hands in his. "This night is ours," he said, voice steady and certain. "The snow, the city, the magic, it's all ours. Let's promise, here and now, that we face the future together, no matter what." Amelia's eyes glistened. "I promise," she said softly. "No more distance, no more hesitation, only us, together, always." The emotional resolution. They lingered in each other's arms, snowflakes drifting gently over them, melting into the warmth of their embrace. The city around them continued its quiet hum, but for Amelia and Oliver, the world had narrowed to a single, perfect moment of connection. Every heartbeat, every breath, every whispered word became a declaration. We are here. We are together. We are no longer afraid. The pain of 2 years apart, the regret of lost time, the longing that had carried them through countless lonely nights, all of it dissolved in the warmth of the present. What remained was love, steadfast and unbroken, and the promise of a future they would create together. The sweetness of now. Oliver pulled back slightly, brushing snow from Amelia's hair and smiling. "Merry Christmas," he whispered, voice filled with awe. Amelia laughed softly, a sound that mingled with the distant carols and falling snow. "Merry Christmas to us," she said, pressing a gentle kiss to his lips. In that moment, all the waiting, all the longing, all the uncertainty was worth it. The city seemed to glow brighter, the snow seemed softer, and the Christmas lights twinkled with approval, celebrating the love that endured every challenge. The promise of forever. As they walked hand in hand back toward the softly lit streets, Amelia and Oliver knew this night would remain etched in memory forever. The collision of hearts, the confessions under the Christmas lights, and the resolution beneath the grand tree marked the beginning of their true story, the one they would write together, day by day, moment by moment. Repetition reinforced the permanence of their choice. We choose each other. We have always chosen each other, and we always will. The night stretched before them, full of promise, full of magic, full of love. And for the first time in years, both knew without doubt that they were exactly where they were meant to be, together, in London, under the snow, with hearts fully open and ready for whatever came next.